Hey everyone, happy Monday. I hope that you are coming off a really awesome weekend. 2022 is in full swing, and I hope it's already just a fabulous year. So many of you, if you've been around me very long, you know this lady. Dr. Sara Perry joined my boot camp early on when I started it, and was right when she opened her practice. It was really cool. She and Jesse Janorski started the same day, and it's been so fun to watch both of them grow their completely unique practices, and grow them in what aligns with them. And the most awesome thing about the boot camp is every single practice is different. I think the similarities are that we have yearly growth, we have tons of fun, high profitability, and we love chiropractic. Other than that, everything is up for grabs. And that's one of the reasons that Dr. Sara is one of my speakers this year at the Pediatric Plus Boot Camp at Sherman College, February 24th through 26th. So this year we have not only pregnancy and pediatrics and cranial, but also Dr. Sara is going to be sharing with us how she has grown an unbelievable functional medicine team that serves chiropractic. Dr. Sara will tell you, like, she still does the adjusting because she loves chiropractic, and also recognizes that due to the chemical load and just the terrible health habits that most Americans have nowadays, that it just occurred to her that it's really important to support them in other ways. And so she's an unbelievable team and is going to be sharing with us today and sharing with us at the Peds Boot Camp. So Dr. Sara, welcome. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So we started this conversation today with you sharing with me how much your business has grown in 2020 and 2021, like the pandemic years. So share with everyone what's happening in Ohio.
So, I mean, pandemic wise, we're pretty open here in Ohio now, which is great, but we weren't always that way. And I had actually just hired my first associate at the top of 2020 in February. Little did I know. But amazingly, we took the time to touch base with our patients, to double down on value, as Dr. Barb teaches us, and stay in touch. We started a Facebook group to stay in touch with the community, and we ended up growing by 66% in 2020. And then we grew by another 62% last year. So 128% total over the last 2 years of growth, which means 100 million% in value, because everybody knows people and they tell everyone. And it's just been a really amazing ride. I feel like the practice has taken on a life of itself. I call it my practice, but I call it our team and our practice more than anything, because of how we created it.
And Sara, you and I were talking about this year, 2021 wasn't just the year of, okay, we're going to grow by 62% because I'm just going to grind. So what also happened in 2021?
Yeah, so this year, my intention was adventure, play, travel, and make bold moves. I started private coaching with you at the end of 2020, and I remember the forum. I was like, "You're like, why do you choose to work with me, or how can I help hold you accountable?" Your forums made the coaching all about me, which was cool. And what I wrote was like, "You're gonna make me do bolder and bigger things and think different and bigger." And so, one, it was doing that and not being afraid. Two, it was taking more vacation than I ever have. We were talking, I think it was about 6 weeks total. When you add it all up, I came to visit you in Alaska, back to back, hopped on a plane to Outer Banks to have family vacation after that, stopped in town for a wedding real fast, and that's it. And I went on tons of little weekend trips to visit friends, to travel with my boyfriend, to just go have amazing times. Our practice always takes 2 weeks off for a summer and winter break. We love doing that. So more travel, more adventure, more play, and more ease of mind than ever before. I have never, and this is, I can physically prove that I'm further from chemical burnout than I've ever been, because my cortisol levels and my adrenal function is, from a functional medicine perspective, entirely different. Even to segue into functional medicine a little bit, I had only had severe pain during menstruation and like cystic acne all over my back before when I was off of birth control. Now I've been off of it for a while, and everything's totally manageable. Zero back acne whatsoever because I really healed my hormones too. So that's one of the hardest things is like gaining control of these mountain lions up here. And I really threw a lot of your help and through a lot of lifestyle mindfulness. Also had like the easiest stress wise year as far as taking it on.
If someone would have told you, or like even a year ago when we started private coaching, like, hey, you're going to have more ease and your business is going to grow, would you have been skeptical? Like, are you from the years of get on that hamster wheel and spin it as fast as you can, or has ease just been the way that you do things?
No, like looking at little Sarah, I call her little Sarah anywhere in the past. So it was really just like several years ago. But you know, we all go through that chiropractic school, like gotta survive, swimming upstream, buckling up your bootstraps and getting through. And we all go through, like, I think I always chose the harder path, almost like I can do it, but like just because I can doesn't mean I should.
Yeah.
I was a couldn't see the forest through all the trees kind of girl. I
Yeah.
would just get so stressed. And then I read a quote the other day that reminded me so much of you. And it was the same skills you used to survive no longer serve you when it's time to thrive.
Yes.
And I think Sarah Guido actually shared that. But yeah, like so good. And I was like, that is so true and so awesome.
and we see it in practice too, right? The skills or the habits that got you to that point of total breakdown in your body, we're going to have to rebuild in a
Yeah.
different fashion. And so your team, let's talk about your team. That's one of the things I've always just been so inspired and so proud of you, is how you really step into that position of leadership while also having an unbelievable relationship with your team. So can we talk about like what are the things that you are so mindful of when hiring and training and leading your team?
So it's really so individual specific. And what I will say is it starts with know thyself. And it starts with like achieving like that sense of calm, achieving flow. And really there are so many ways to look at ourselves that can be like gentle, beautiful, and nurturing. And you don't have to be like some kind of healed guru to do this, but the more you commit to that growth process within yourself, the more you're going to be really clear on what you need. And then you're not going to ask your team to fill your buckets. It's kind of like a bad relationship when you want them to do everything and fill every void.
Yes.
It can become codependent, or like family dynamics. It's really like so much the same. So one, knowing yourself and knowing what kind of personalities or work styles will complement you, and then also having just such a healthy respect for what that person might bring to the table. Chiropractic is a science, a philosophy, a science, and an art. And the art is what makes us all unique, because our philosophy we stand on, our science we prove, and then our art is really how we choose to use it. It's our technique, it's our approach, it's our bedside manner. And it's the same thing with your team. Your team has a philosophical foundation. There's science behind why you're there. Even the science is like job equals money to pay bills,
Yeah.
but the art is what everyone brings to the table. And as my background as a dancer as well, I always bring art into it. And it's like, how do they want to perform? What makes them feel good? What lights them up? And that's where you utilize their strength, and learning to pull that out of them and create an atmosphere where they can thrive. So what I have envisioned my practice exactly how it is with just me? No, no. But what I did envision is that I could be the kind of leader that, you know, it's what you say, casts vision, it creates culture, and holds accountable. And so when I cast that vision, I just want my vision and my trajectory to be wide enough to hold their vision and their vision and their vision and their vision, and just nurture it while they build it, and put up their guardrails to help them. And so, yeah, and that's even something, if you don't mind if I keep going on for a second,
Yeah.
my associate, Dr. Melissa, what came on, And she came from National, which is super different from coming from Logan or Life or Sherman or Palmer. Like all schools have a little bit of different like take and approach. But what I love is she loves chiropractic, and she double loves functional medicine and acupuncture, but she wouldn't have done any of it if it wasn't first for chiropractic bringing her in, you know?
Yeah.
She loves to adjust. And she felt so bad one time at our meeting saying, I love adjusting, but I don't have that ideal ratio. I had to pull it out of her. Like, what do you want to do? What's your ideal life? So we did this meditation and breathwork where you envision your perfect day. And
Mm.
then I was like, just tell me what it is. There's no wrong answers. And it turns out she was seeing like equal parts functional medicine, acupuncture, and chiropractic. And she was seeing the specific type of chiropractic patients where she could wear a pencil skirt to work. And that stuck with her. She's like, I was wearing this beautiful pencil skirt. And I was like, great, let's do that. So we set a goal without doing a whole lot more about it. Honestly, we set a goal for her ideal ratio of visits to be set. And then on that day, we would know she achieved it. Because I said, how do you know when you get there? It's so easy to like get in that daily, habit, and you just don't stop to acknowledge where you are and
Yeah.
what is going on. So the day you get there, you'll wear your pencil skirt. And I, as her reward, bought her a pencil skirt from Anthropologie, which is her favorite store, which is fantastic. It was a fabulous pencil skirt. Ordered it, and that day she wore it, and it was like,
Aw.
aha. And we just keep revisiting that. We're like, now what? Now what's possible? What if there were no wrong answers? What do we dare to create here? Together and individually, because it's not my dream to wear pencil skirts,
No.
but I love that it was hers, and that when we made space for it, I mean, she's got a wait list. We both have a wait list. She's making a huge impact in the community. She's thriving. She's happy. She's profitable. She's abundant, and there we are, because we just let her create her space within the space by nourishing that.
And something that
Oh,
you
really fast too. She also, because the numbers are fun, I'm so sorry. She made over 6 figures last year.
Yay! Good job, Melissa, and great job, Dr. Sara. I mean, it feels so good to pay our people well.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Um, something I love that I've always observed you doing is that you're your teammates' biggest cheerleaders. I've obviously been coaching chiropractors, so I'm going into 23 years, which is unbelievable. And many times I have worked with docs that see their associates as competition. And I'm like, why would you do that? Like, the whole reason you're hiring somebody is to help serve your community. They're not in competition for you. And yes, what you want is your practice members to love your associate. Like, I loved when a practice member walked in, they're like, hey, can I get adjusted by Dr. James? Yes, that's exactly like, please, all of you, that way, right?
Yeah.
And so can you just share for a minute, like, what thinking have you had such that always leads the way?
So that comes right back to know thyself. If
Mhm.
your dream is to be the best, most requested adjuster in your practice, then you need to consider, who do you hire? Do they have a different specialty so that you can fulfill that role and you can be working in your practice forever? Or do you want to start to step back and do different aspects? And it's okay to want to be that go-to person. Maybe your other person then specializes in pregnancy and pediatrics, and they're the best at that kind of adjusting, or they have a different technique from you and you don't feel that they're competition. But for me, I think I just was like, I have equal passion working on bodies and adjusting as I do leading my team and
Mhm.
really spending time with them. I really I love that. So I want a lot of my time to be spent doing that.
Mhm.
And that is right for me. Is it right for you? You can only know. And but you should certainly have a strong hint of that if you want to be a boss. Have you ever worked for someone? I'm sure we can all raise our hand, even if it's back being a teenager at the local, ice cream shop or something. But have you ever had a boss where you're like, I don't know if they really love their job leading me, or or you could feel it. And so I really think it's that. And then, also give yourself permission to be human. It's not like there aren't days when I'm like, should I be keeping this money, or I don't know if they did that, or what if they forgot? No, they don't even care about me. Like you
Right.
have what I call your ego. You have your mind on the hamster wheel. It's not like it goes away, but you don't judge it, and you don't get on the roller coaster. You just go, isn't it funny? Like,
Yes.
funny that I'm doing that. And I'm like, okay, so then how do you release that? How do you get it out? Do you call and vent to someone? Do you journal it out? Do you go exercise? And like, whatever it is, how do you move that insecurity and anxiety and whatever it is? It's about you, not about them. Also, most things, if you're noticing, like, no, it really is, Dr. Sara, about their mistakes. Well, that's just a simple training away. And it really is about the money they're keeping. Well, that's a simple math equation. So it's really not. It's what you say, stinking thinking, running the show. And then it's really you projecting something you haven't resolved or moved around in you. I mean, it's kind of like you can stop and take some deep breaths and then ask yourself again, or have a good laugh, then ask yourself again. And so don't expect that you're like, well, magically I'm the most secure, figured it out boss ever. Part of the reason why we like being bosses is because we constantly don't have it figured out, and it's kind of exciting. All you do is commit to going first and being the figure it out one.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that is so true.
I mean, you don't know you know the next step, not every step.
Yep. And that's part of the journey. I think when we tell ourselves we have to know it all, or we have to be perfect, that's when it stops being fun. But if instead we see that every lesson is another adventure, another exploration, another opportunity, it really just opens us up to so much more in our life. I know I was talking to a private coaching client the other day, and I was just sharing some stuff with her, and she's like, it's so nice to know that I just appreciate your authenticity, that you don't have it all figured out either. I'm like, no, like that's not what you signed up for. If you signed up for the person who has it all figured out, like we need to revisit that contract, because that is nowhere in there. And just to know that we're all working it out together, and to embrace our team. And I love that you said, it's just a training away. Like, if we didn't get it right this time, it's just a training away. It's okay. And in that as well, that as leader, that we're willing to look, see, tell the dirty, rotten, stinking truth, and take responsibility. Not that everything is our fault. And most people think that taking responsibility means assigning blame, and that's not the case at all. It just means, okay, this is the truth. Like, it was just my thinking. Like, there's that thought, like Michael Neal talks about, there's that suicide thought. There's that thought of, oh my gosh, I don't even want a team anymore. I just want to be myself. It's just a thought that comes and goes. We don't have to be afraid of it. It's there. We can entertain it. Like Sara said, you can, if you feel the need to get rid of it, you can go work it out. You can talk to somebody, or you can just know it's just there temporarily, like a storm. It's going to pass. Like, you don't have to take your thinking terribly seriously. And I think therein really opens this up to such a more delicious and lovely life. That's for sure. So at
Your
the
team has the same process. Like, as you heal that, you can heal your team's process too. And I can talk a little bit about what my team and I do, and our thinking takes control too.
Yeah, let's talk about that, because that is an issue, right? Like, how do you hold space for your team, Sara, but not allow the stuff from their life to come into the practice to impact practice members? Because I firmly believe when we're in practice, we're there to serve our people. Like, our stuff is very secondary. And that doesn't mean that we just like put on a happy face and we're not authentic. It means that we remember the role that we're playing in that moment. How do you do that?
You do the work on yourself, and outside of work, you surround yourself with the boot camp tribe, or whatever it is for you. You surround yourself with people who are like you, who can relate to you, and you figure out what works for you to let that go and you to do that. And you work on you as just as much as you work on your team and just as much as you work on your practice and your practice members. You commit fully to yourself, as well as your family, as well as your practice, and your team, as well as your practice members. Like, it's all, and it's the Michael Neal, do everything you're doing as if it's the most important thing in the world. When you're right there, you gotta have that. You're focusing on you, or you're focusing on your team. You're gifting yourself or whoever you're with your presence. And I also, like in Effortless Success, Michael Neal talks about the bricks of silence. So when you're stuck in your thinking, you can bet your team is too, because they pick up on everything you do, because they watch you and they take their cues off you, and you pay them, and it matters. And so when too many things go left thinking and not expressed and let out in a safe, assigned, predetermined manner, then it builds one little brick of silence. And one or two, we've all played Jenga, one or two, like, okay, no problem. But eventually you can build a wall. And you don't have to pick every brick up and throw it at them. Like, and then I thought this, and Thursday I thought this, and guess what? Your laugh is annoying, and whatever. You don't have to do that. You don't have to throw bricks. But
Right.
usually with Jenga, it takes the one brick to topple the whole wall down. What's the one brick that you have to express? And then have a predetermined time when you are sitting and gifting them with your presence. Get your bricks of silence out. And then be open to their process. Some team members want to just say it, and then you just say, okay. Some people want to write it down first and prepare, send you an email, and then you can discuss it, and that's easier. Some people want to go do an activity together and kind of like be doing something else, so it takes the pressure off. And ask them and feel it out and try it and let them know there are options. And then as a team, regular meetings with each individual team member, they don't take that long when you do them regularly, but it gives them a chance to have your presence one-on-one and be heard. And then as a team getting together and doing it. And what we did at the end of last year, we had like a couple of staffing changes. We let one person go. We brought one person on. It was all shaking up. Everyone in Ohio was suddenly getting COVID, including me. Actually, had to let an employee go and then have COVID. They tested COVID for the very next day and missed 2 weeks in the office. And they had to just kind of process, deal, carry on, reschedule everyone. And it was very stressful. And what I made sure to tell them from home is, it's okay to be stressed. It's just not okay for it to affect patients right now.
Yeah.
We have a time coming up when we can all talk about this. So we set a team building day where we take an entire afternoon off and we get together. And I said, okay, first things first, we're going to have a little fun today. Gingerbread house making competition, champagne toast at the end of the day. You chance to win prizes for the best house. And then we're going to, do some team meeting stuff. We're going to set some goals. But before that, does anyone feel like there's some stuff you need to get off your chest? And we were all like, and I was like, I think it built up. I think we have a wall, I don't think we have bricks. I think we have a Great Wall of China. Bricks built up. So I want to address this, but I don't want to sit and dwell on it. I want to tear the wall down and reset and refocus. Over time, it will dilute, we'll get better. So what we did is we went to our separate places of the office that we spend the most time in. We wrote down on paper what bothered us the most about 2021. And I said, it could be anything. It could be like, Melissa's lunch stinks up the fridge. It could be, I can't stand this person. They always forget that. Or I just feel overwhelmed all the time and I never do anything right. It could be anything. Get the ugly stuff out. The ugliest thing. Do it, because we're not going to read it. We're not going to look at it. And then come back with it folded up.
I love that. We're not going to read it. We're not going to look at it. So it's totally safe.
Yeah. We're just going to, you should have seen mine. Right? We all had stuff to get out because we're all human.
Yeah.
Lean into that. Allow yourself to feel the frustration. Like, get kind of mad. If you're not kind of mad, you're not doing it right. Dig deeper.
Yeah.
Because it's safe. This is your safe chance to feel it. in the part of the office where you usually sit, and then open the window, which it sounds weird right now, and then come back to the middle and fold it up. And then we all took turns just burning it and letting it go. We almost burned the office down, but it's fine. We do it outside.
Everyone got their own fire extinguisher for the day.
Yes, we had Billy on call. My boyfriend's a firefighter, so we were like, "You're gonna do great." So, so we all burnt it and kind of just like let it go. And then I'm big on, regardless of where it comes from, I'm big on ceremonious things, traditions, things people can look forward to. And so we burnt sage because in Native American history, they always thought that that would like let out bad demons and energy and stuff. And some of my team members burn sage in their homes, so I was like, let's do that. And so we walked around, and everyone carried it into their room and just kind of let the smoke go out the window. And we did it the whole office and kind of walked around together, just breathing and kind of laughing, and we just let it go. And then we had our gingerbread house building competition and our champagne toast, and we just had fun. We set goals from that place. And everyone just had a chance to like let it go. And then I was like, what are our goals for this year? We're actually spending January meeting individually, coming up with individual goals and also team goals. So,
I love that. I love that. And anyone who's watching, like, how much do you want to be a part of Dr. Sara's team? Like, yes, I do.
We're hiring.
And they are hiring. So if you're watching this and you're a Sherman student or a new grad, or even just someone, I firmly believe this. I know everyone can be a business owner if they want to be. It doesn't mean everyone should. Yeah. Right? Like Dr. Sara's practice and brand is very successful because she is the owner and Dr. Melissa is an unbelievable associate. And I could go on and on and on about teams like that. And so it's not that one is better than the other. They're just different positions. That's all. And so, if you are looking for a great position, especially a great position for mentorship, this is your lady. She loves teaching and is an unbelievable adjuster. I know, I know this because I hear this from students all the time, that they're very nervous about their clinical skills, especially adjusting and locating, analyzing, and adjusting vertebral subluxation. And so if you're in that camp, it's okay. Let's get you in flow with someone who can teach you. And Dr. Sara's practice is a great place for that. So if you're watching this and you do go to Sherman or Life or any school, please recognize the place to be is at the Peds Plus Bootcamp. It's a great place to meet your next position. It's a great place to find your next, associate or independent contractor, that when we're in community and we get to know one another, that's really the name of the game. And even if you're early on in school, but you're going to be at the end before you know it. You're going to be in a place for a preceptorship in a heartbeat. Like school, I know that some days it feels like it's not going by very fast, but a guy that I went to Logan with just wished me happy birthday. I'm like, oh my gosh, can you believe it's been 20 plus years that we've been out of school? And we were just kind of reminiscing about how much fun we have. A little bit of it was a blur, but for the most part, but so if you're in that position, like the time is now to get to know these amazing doctors that are coming to Sherman. And if you come up to me, I promise you, I will introduce you to all of them, and then you take it from there. So Sara, as we wrap this up, what are the top things that doctors and students will walk away with from the Peds Plus Bootcamp, from your talk specifically? And I want to make it really clear to all of you, Sara is not a pediatric practice. Sara does not have a pregnancy practice. And yet she's coming, this is her second year to the Peds Bootcamp. And can you even talk about that? Like, why come if you don't have that specialty?
And I think we all have a passion for treating anyone who needs our help. So your practice members, if they're women, may get pregnant. They may have children and families. I do adjust pregnant women. I do adjust kids. It's always, I value being a high level expert technician. I want to be the best technician I can be. So I want to get that hands-on skill. I want that, honestly, just like the feeling of being with a tribe in a room of people you can relate to is huge. The networking and the connection. I have such a passion for presenting and speaking and leading, so I love that I get to do that as well. Um, and then, like, Dr. Barb, you know so many people. If I'm a chiropractor, I want to know you because you know everyone, and that's part of it too. Like you have learned so much and shared so much and given so much to our profession, and I thank you for that. And so, like, just it's a great event to be at, regardless of where you are. And then from my talk specifically, as much as I can, I want it to be interactive. I want it to be about you, the audience, and I want to, because we can all learn from. Oh, wait, that sounds like I'm kind of like that. Maybe that would work for me. Well, Dr. Sara, you said burning sage, and I don't know what that means, and I feel weird about it. What else could I do? Great, we have ideas for that.
Yeah.
And like skills of learning how to know thyself, both through example, networking, communication, asking me personal questions, but also through some general suggestions, and just some inspiration and ideas. I think when you come to a seminar with this one, you're going to have so much epic information, and then you're like, ooh, now what? Well, all of our presenters teach you how to use that information day one in clinic, you know, or they give you so much information that you can have like a database about pelvic floor and instability and everything. Like, you're going to have things you can do right away, things you can enact with your team right away. Your mindset's going to be better. You're going to feel like you're on fire. And from there, I mean, just anything can happen.
I love that. And like Sara said, like my events aren't, this is the expert and they know everybody and you just sit back and shut up and take it all in. It's very interactive. And so it's much more workshop-ish than it is just like seminar convention. And we all have amazing relationships. And if you're in the boot camp and you haven't been to a live event yet and you kind of feel like you're on the outskirts, like, oh, everyone else in the boot camp is so close, it's because we get together. So if you want to have, I love our pastor yesterday talked about, we had 128 people give their life to Christ over the 5 Christmas events that we had. And he said, if you're in church for the first time today and you're sitting waiting for somebody to approach you, like, you get up and approach other people, right? Like, if you want friends, be a friend. If you want to be connected, get connected. Like, I promise you, our tribe is like this. Like, we have the widest arms, and there's no like inner circle, like there's no secret club. I am vehemently against that. You will find in the boot camp, you get invited to everything, but it's your responsibility to show up. And that's how we have amazing relationships. Like Sara said, we did private coaching for the past year. And so private coaching clients came up here to my home. We stayed in Alaska. Sara stayed extra days, and she and I got to go 4-wheeling and whitewater rafting, and we fished on the Kenai together, and she met my friends and met my family. And it really is, if you're looking for that kind of environment, look no further than the boot camp. And your first part of the journey could be at the Pediatric Plus Boot Camp, February 24th through the 26th. Whether you join live or virtually, you get this 60-day replay. I don't know too many seminars that you get that, where you can just sit and take it in, knowing that you can catch up on any details for the next 60 days. So it allows us to really enjoy the experience and then know that we can get down to the nitty-gritty 60 days thereafter. So Sara, as we wrap this up, any final words?
I think just like what you were saying, be the change you want to see in your life, be the change you want to see in the world. It's so important right now. There couldn't be a more important time to be open to what's available for you, your practice, your community, and your tribe and your network. I'm so excited to see some of the people I first met at my first event. in Vegas years ago,
Mhm.
So I haven't seen some of those people live in a while, and I'm so excited. So
Yes. Yeah, the old G man
oh
when
gee.
when
Yeah.
Sarah was instrumental in that. Like our coming out party was she choreographed with help of Michelle Schwinn a dance to 24 Karat Magic. It'd be funny. You know what we're gonna have to do? We're all gonna have to see if we can remember that dance and do it like maybe on Saturday or something like that.
Maybe I'll dance
So
on at
yeah,
teach camp too.
yeah, that'll be fun. I know Jesse and Maddie will be up for it. Um,
Excuse me.
they're all dancers, so we have the pleasure of having some extreme talent in the boot camp. That would not be this girl in terms of dancing. I kept pulling Sarah aside, like, go over it with me again, go over it with me again. Um, at any rate, so to all of you, thanks for joining us today. Sarah, I love you. I appreciate you. Thanks for being a great friend as well as allowing me to be your coach and just on this journey with you. So we look forward to seeing all of you. Like, stop putting it off. Go to that link, grab your ticket, upgrade to VIP as well. You can get 14 CEs, whether you do those live or you do those live virtually. It's just a great way to start the year, and that's why I have it every year in February. So we will see you all there February 24th through the 26th. Have a great day.